And I'm Sourcine 12 Chief Meteorologist Patrick 4.
Radio 92.7.
Listen to that. That's the sound of power and the call of the open road. That's the sound of the newly designed 2019 Indian Chieftain Limited. Yeah, Indian. It's more than a bike. It's an experience and an American icon. The place to find it, Indian Motorcycle of Chattanooga, along with their entire new 2019 line. The open road is calling. Answer the call. Go to Indian Motorcycle of Chattanooga. Just look for the sign on 153 and Amnicola. Indian Motorcycle, the true American original.
Join We've Got You Covered with Scott Schrader every Saturday from 10 to 11 on Nooga Radio. From finance to fixtures, we discuss everything you need to know about buying or owning a home, the pitfalls, the perks, and everything in between. Saturday mornings, 10 to 12, right here on Nooga Radio.
For your small business, ending the year the right way can set you up for success come January. No need to let end-of-year panic set in. Easy Books and Taxes can help set up your books or new payroll service so that you can relax and enjoy the holiday season. With 35 years, bookkeeping, individual, and business tax preparation, it's easy. With Easy Books and Taxes, you run the business, we keep the books. Call us today at 423-755-0821.
92.7 Nooga Radio.
Good morning, beautiful people here in the city of Chattanooga. It's your girl Marie Mott with the Marie Mott Show. Y'all know what it is. I'm taking it from the streets to City Hall, from City Hall to the mayor's office. Can't leave out the police department. From the Valley Low to the mountaintop, give you guys a bird's eye view to what's going on here in the city of Chattanooga. Good morning. It's a little bit of a cloudy day, and we got a little fall weather coming in, but I'm appreciative because we are moving out of the summer. We're getting into sweater weather. Good morning, everyone. It's Marie Mott with the Marie Mott Show. Y'all know what it is. Call-in number is always the same, 800-8949, if you want to call and chop it up with me. If you can't call in, that's okay. You could tune in Nooga Radio 92.7 FM or on YouTube and drop a comment and interact with me. Either or, don't forget to like the Facebook page as well as share what I'm talking about today. And it's so important. We keep having story after story that comes out, whether it's from David Twillis and Nooganomics, whether it's Chattanooga Times Free Press, the Chattanoogan. You may not hear the real of what's going on in the city of Chattanooga when you go to the city council. You may not hear the real of what's going on when you talk to your elected officials. But if you want to know the real, you better tune into the Marie Mott Show because I'm talking about it. We have an unchecked development system here in the city of Chattanooga, which is causing class stratification, wealth classification, and criminalizing even the poorest among us. And how is this all unfolded? What's the evidence that I have in my bag? And can the truth, or will the truth catch fire here in the city of Chattanooga? I believe when I look back, 10 years ago, we had a financial meltdown in this country. And I believe that because the word says pride comes before a fall. How did we not see the signs? This country has crashed economically before in the 30s, right before the Great Depression. How do we not see the signs? Is it that we are not honest about what we see? Or maybe we lie to ourselves about the good things that we see and we don't count the cost of what it takes to get those things. And do we really think that by criminalizing the poor, causing division in this country and even in this city, that we're going to be blessed? Do we really expect that? I'm asking a simple question to you. Do you expect for us to have blessings bestowed upon us if we will trample over the lowliest of people? And who's responsible? It may not be us in boardrooms, shaking hands, making decisions. It may not be us, but we, the people, choose other people to represent us who make the decisions and the choices, often without explaining or conversation with us. And then when it goes all bad, we don't hold those people accountable. How do we get in this predicament? Because we can't turn away from the reality of where Chattanooga is. And every single document that is based in truth. Now, we can lie to ourselves. Now, that's up to you. You want to lie to yourself about how great this city is, then that's fine. And really, the only people who have the luxury of doing that are people who don't have any children, no grandchildren, and the only thing they're living for is themselves. But if you have family interest, if you have future interest in this city of Chattanooga, and the burden of it becoming better, the burden of us staring at the truth of where we are is not just for those of us who are living, but for these generations like mine, the generation after me that are coming up in the city that shouldn't have to leave here looking for a better life and opportunity. We ask ourselves, how is it that young people leave here to go to college, leave here to go to trade school, leave here to just chase a passion? Because there's nothing for them here. And in particular, if they're from the inner city, the reality is that it's not much for them here. And I'm proud of my generation. I'm proud of the young people that I'm friends with, people like Brandon Woodruff, Anthony Wiley, Malachi Moore. I'm proud of people like Ray Harper. I'm proud of people like Bria Bates. I'm proud of young people my age and younger who are desperately trying to, even though we don't see a way in this city, we're trying to make a way. And how hard is that often when we're trying to do that out of the little pockets, the little monies that we have? The Chattanooga Times released a wonderful article on the 14th about why we should beware of the Chattanooga Business Improvement District. There has been this push in our city for more than just development. There's also been this push of what Ben Sass, a Republican, called alphabet soup interests, which are not controlled by the people. You look in a lot of major cities around this country, Chattanooga is not doing anything innovative. This is a model that is really being brought to up and coming or rapid growing cities. And we know that the shift of people in this country, as well as throughout the world, is that more people are living in cities right now and in the future than ever before. And with people moving into the city, there is this attempt, they would say, to clean up the inner city. But in my honest assessment of it, to sanitize the inner workings of a city. We see where there is this privatization of downtown, like a city within a city. How does this happen? And why should we be careful of allowing something like this to develop here in our city? If we go back, because all you got to do is your homework, dear people. You go back in April, where Carol Burrs and Oglesby, the two gargoyles of the city council, decided that it would be wise to approve panhandling extension through a new ordinance that really would restrict the First Amendment freedoms of people here within the city, and really increases the scope of people who might be said that they're panhandling from not only within the city, but in areas extending beyond the inner city. So y'all remember that in 2020, when these same people want to come up and pop up talking about they want to be a mayor, make sure you let them know. Why would I want you to be my mayor if you like stepping on poor people? We're good. So there's this push of us sanitizing the inner city and doing that through business improvement districts, or what we like to call innovation districts. When I talk about the $10.4 million investment into Miller Park, I called it, and I hate being right in ways like this. And I told people if we have private entities such as EPB and other who have put millions of dollars into something like Miller Park, which wasn't really that bad. It needed a facelift. I can admit that. But I understand, if I'm being truthful about why we needed to put $10.4 million into a Miller Park. And then you have your mayor who gets up and then says that I could not have done this without the city council, and kind of threw Bob Corker into the mix. And he got up when they did the ribbon cutting ceremony and said he had nothing to do with the park, which was quite interesting. But his vision for the park wasn't, and you can see in how it's laid out. It's no trees for shade, very little places, very few tables to sit. His vision for the park was granola eating, juice drinking, sushi eating, I guess North Shore residents, or the people who can afford to live in overpriced condominiums, to come and play soccer and to have picnics and lunches down there. But he didn't mention that Miller Park was a place where, if nothing else, during the sweltering summers, the hot summers that we experience here in the South, where our poor people would come and just find something as simple as shade. And I said to people who were praising it, I said, do you honestly believe that if the city will spend $10.4 million into this park, that they're going to allow everybody to come and hang out here? Everybody? Or are they going to protect their investment? Oh, Marie, no, this is a place where we can have concerts and we can dance. And they have the event, I think it's the 20th. Yep, the festival at Miller Park. You see, this is how this stuff unfolds. They cut you out of the process and then help you celebrate it. Do y'all see the game here? Do you see the game here? They cut you out of the process, then help you celebrate it. Then make you celebrate it with the festival. When in reality, they've hired private surveillance and security guards to guard this public park. Why would we need security guards to watch a park if it's supposed to be for everybody? I can't be the only one. 800-8949 if you want to call and talk to me. But we are parading our demise. I'm seeing this happen all the time, where we see things pop up and we're so excited about it. We were excited about the MLK extension, but does anybody question who's paying for this? Where is the money coming from? And did we apply that money that the city racked up from the only corporate entity that they've ever sued to get payment in lieu of tax money from corporations that don't pay money back, which the word calls wicked? Only the wicked borrow and don't pay back. But we have businesses that do that with... I can't be real. That's okay. Well, yeah, businesses doing that. Awesome. The only corporation we've ever sued, and we've been handing out pilots since the 70s, the only corporation we ever sued to get any money back from a payment in lieu of tax agreement And we didn't even take that money that we got from Alstom to pay for something like the MLK extension. Where did that money come from? Who's paying for that? Who's paying for these agreements that are made without public interest and knowledge? Who's benefiting? Is it our local economy? Because I don't see this. It's only so many restaurants we can have. We have plenty of restaurants, but as far as like this growing, like local thriving business scene, we really don't have that. I don't see that. I see in my community and with young people my age, we're not getting any sort of capital investment to be able to do these things. Anything that we create it out of the hard-earned dollars that we earn every single day. You see people like Tiara Mitchell, one of the baddest barbers in the city, opened up a shop. And I'm pretty sure there wasn't any city investor that came and handed her $25,000 because she's one of the baddest barbers in the city and said, you know what? Like, I would love to invest in you and help you grow your business. You deserve to have a shop in every corner of the city and help employ other young people. I'm pretty sure the shop that she opened, Clifford's, if you need your haircut, y'all need to holler at Tiara Mitchell. One of the baddest barbers in the city. I'm pretty sure the shop that she opened, that's her own brand, she did that herself or with family help. Where is this business improvement that is on a local level? Because as far as I see within my city, it's not the little guy that gets to compete. It's not the small person. There is no local economy. Where is the space for the little person to be able to compete? Where's the space for them to be able to compete? Is it possible? If we had a young person that could take fiber optics to the next level, would they be able to get into a market in the city of Chattanooga and be able to compete against a juggernaut like EPB? Come on. The crackdown, really, the sanitation of a city is the start of over-criminalization of the poorest in a city. And it's a despicable thing to see that not only is this an agenda, but for the most part, with the exception when you look at the panhandling ordinance, there was only two people who, in this context, seemed to have some shred of decency, which was Demetrius Coonrod and Councilman Mitchell. Everyone else seems to be going along to get along with the agenda of hurting and cutting the most impoverished in the city. And I'm telling you, I can't wait to have the brainstorming sessions that I've been working diligently to set up within marginalized communities. And a dear friend of mine, who I would consider her a mentor, has provided me with the statistical information for each district, neighborhood, streets. And when you see that the wealth of this city is locked up within 3 districts, and pretty much 3 to 4 districts, the rest of the city is just overwhelmingly poor. Who's affected by this two Chattanooga situation that we are allowing to be created? And the kicker is, and the real truth is that for our children and our grandchildren that live here in the city of Chattanooga, how in the world are they going to be able to have a future in the city if we are steering them to not have help to become creators, as our mayor wants to make the city a city of creators? Easier said than done. I talked about it yesterday. Creativity, if you look at Maslow's hierarchy of needs, creativity is self-actualization, potential, morals, creativity. In order to reach that, you have to have the basics taken care of first. Safety, protection, community, food, clean water, shelter, job opportunity, proper education. If you don't have the foundational basics, then getting to self-actualization is virtually impossible. It's virtually impossible. That's like building a house with no foundation. You got a roof, but no studs and no foundation. Will it stand? Will it work? It can't work. And are we going to sit idly by? Because if the goal is to turn this into a constitutional republic, as it always has been, but always should be, which means that we respect the individual rights of people, and people should have a right, which is why I've been on fire. I'm not saying from popularity, but on fire about my purpose and this whole dynamic. I've been on fire and punching people in the face with truth because I'm concerned about each individual person having the opportunity to be the absolute best that they can be. And if we set up a situation where it's impossible for people to be the best that they can be, then the people should be on fire. Oh, man. It's Marie Mott with the Marie Mott Show. Y'all know what it is. Stay tuned for the second half of the segment because we're going to continue to talk about it. It's a two Chattanooga situation, and we cannot escape the truth. Y'all better tune in, and you better wake up.
3, 2, 1.
Chattanooga Radio. Digital FM 95.3 HD4. 92.7 FM's news now.
Fatal car crash victim has been identified. It happened on 153. Rachel Daniels was making a left-hand turn and reportedly collided with another vehicle. Brendan Wilson was thrown from his motorcycle and pronounced dead at the scene. The investigation is still ongoing. The Bradley County Sheriff's Office trying to find a missing man who hasn't been seen since the 4th of July. BCSO says 52-year-old Kevin Floyd is known to live in the area of Inman Street and Wildwood Avenue. If you know his whereabouts, give the BCSO a call. And police were called out to Highway 153 following reports of an overturned truck carrying logs. The driver telling officers that his brakes burned out and lost control at a red light. The truck ended up T-boning 2 other vehicles. Cops say the driver didn't have a license, not a commercial license, not a regular driver's license. The man was arrested. Val St. John for Nooga Radio News Talk 92.7 Action News now.
Sean Hannity, weekday afternoons from 3 to 6 p.m. on Nooga Radio 92.7 FM.
Nooga Radio 92.7.
Cash, and more cash. Get 8.1% return on your money. Rick Davis can turn your cash into real money. Gold and silver bullion. American Eagle Gold. The banks give you a measly 1.9%. At Rick Davis Gold and Diamonds, you'll get 8.1% return on your money. 8.1% return on your money. Wow! Whether you're buying an ounce or 100 ounces, Rick guarantees it in writing. 8.1% Rick Davis Gold and Diamonds. Brainerd Road, Chattanooga.
Even if you like your job, there are some things that can drive you nuts, like the anonymous coward who steals your lunch from the break room fridge, or maybe Tyler, the IT guy, who gives you that condescending look when you tell him that your computer is acting up again, as if somehow it's your fault. You put up with these clowns every single day. But what happens when you've had enough? That's the day you decide to retire. At least that's the hope, right? But will you be able to retire? Can you afford to retire? That's why you need to talk to Ron and Christy Adams at One Family Financial. They can't do anything about Cody, that moron who heats up fish in the microwave, but they can strategize with you on how to get the most out of your 401k or pension, how to grow your money without losing your shirt in the market, and how to help make your money last in retirement. Talk to Ron and Christy today about whether you'll be ready to retire when you finally had it with seeing Ethan walk out of the bathroom again without washing his hands. Gross. Call Ron and Christy Adams at One Family Financial, 423-710-2009, 423-710-2009. 2009.
I'm Bo Watson, and I approve this ad.
This is Hamilton County Sheriff Jim Hammond. In today's society, safety for our children, families, and others are critical. State Senator Bo Watson is working hard to make sure that safety for all Tennesseans is paramount to our future. This is why I'm asking for your vote for Bo Watson, a leader in Nashville that is working for us and safety for all. Vote for Bo Watson for Tennessee's future.
Paid for by Friends of Bo Watson, Boy W. Watson III, Treasurer, VoteForTennessee.com.
Your home is a constant work in progress. Repaint the walls? Yeah, easy enough. Leaky faucet? There's a video for that. But roof repair? You might want some help. That's where Chattanooga roofing contractors come in. They have 3 generations of roofing excellence you can count on. Leave the ladder in the garage. Go to chatroofing.com. That's chatroofing.com for Chattanooga roofing contractors, a roofing company you can trust. Man, you sure you know what you're doing?
Yeah, I worked with my dad on his truck all the time. Just one more bolt to go.
Yeah, wrong bolt. Today's truck ain't your daddy's truck. For repairs on today's vehicles, you need Amco Transmission and Total Car Care of Chattanooga on Lee Highway. Stay on the road, not in the garage. Amco Transmission on Lee Highway. Get it done the right way. The Thompson Pet way. Yeah, I just put that anywhere.
Join We've Got You Covered with Scott Schrader every Saturday from 10 to 11 on Nooga Radio. From finance to fixtures, we discuss everything you need to know about buying or owning a home, the pitfalls, the perks, and everything in between. Saturday mornings, 10 to 12, right here on Nooga Radio.
Expect cloudy skies with areas of showers moving in from the south and west for your afternoon and evening. A little cooler, highs mid-60s. Tonight, early showers diminishing, lows into the lower 50s. For Wednesday, more sunshine for the afternoon, highs upper 60s, sunny and pleasant Thursday. It's apple season, and now is a great time to visit Apple Valley Orchards in Cleveland for the freshest apple cider and fried pies around. Open daily, Apple Valley Orchards, 423-472-3044. And I'm Sourcine 12 Chief Meteorologist Patrick 4.
Nooga Radio 92.7.
What's going on? Beautiful people here in the city of Chattanooga. It's your girl Marie Mott with the Marie Mott Show. And y'all know what it is? We're talking about it. Chattanooga's Business Improvement District. Another alphabet soup entity that's not duly elected by the people, which would have power to designate how funds are spent within the city, how things are privatized in a public space. We should be afraid and be, well, not really afraid. We should be disgusted that we have people considering giving private entities and corporations control over public space. That's what a business improvement district will do for you. So a lot of us get caught up in the opulence, the splendor, the theatrics, the pomps and circumstance of all the things going on downtown. But I don't think we consider the cost to who and to what. To whom is this an improvement for? That's a real question. And it is a reality that we're going to give private interest, because this has been tried in other places throughout the country. And I don't know what it is about the South. The South realizes stuff like 10 years behind the rest of the nation. I've never understood it. The South is always the last to have the light bulb come on about what needs to happen. I've never gotten that. But people all across this country have fought this same type of initiative, from California to Arizona, advocating it specifically for homeless or impoverished people. Because if we already see in a small little portion like Miller Park, where we have these beautiful buildings like EPB that is overlooking the park, if we already have private security guarding or watching a public space, what in the world will we do when that becomes a whole district of public space within a city? this continued push of improving our city at the expense of the poor or the homeless is like one of the most disgusting things that I've ever seen. And I'm being straight up. What you've done to the least of these, you've done it to me. The least of these, the people who often don't have the voice, or they have the voice and they make it to city council, because I've seen people like the homeless journalist who have made it to talk about just something like the necessity of getting his driver's license reinstated because he is homeless and he's poor, but he still needs to have a driver's license to be able to operate a motor vehicle. And people scoff and roll their eyes. And when he gets frustrated, as I talked about yesterday, when I talked about double consciousness within the African American, where W.E.B. Du Bois talked about having to reduce that boiling within to a simmer, because to act on that boiling in a white world often does you no good. How do I know? Because the comments that were made to me and Isaiah Moore at the city council meeting a couple weeks ago, there was all kinds of people there. No one. What a world we're living in, where we'll hear people, when you'll see a person emasculated in front of you, where you will see people spit on you, and nobody around has the courage or the fortitude to stand up and say that this is wrong. This is wrong. Nobody, people vote no, but who has the courage? Who refuses to? I refuse to continue to exist in a double consciousness. I am African American. I am descendant of chattel slaves. I am here in the corridors of America. This is my father's house. I didn't show up to America yesterday asking for things or expecting things of this country. I built it through the lineage of the people before me. And wanting to have the best that life has to offer in this republic is not a crime. It's not a crime. It's not a crime for anybody that looks like me or is darker. It's not a crime for the Hispanic. It's not a crime for the person leaving Sudan. It's not a crime. It's not even a crime for the people who are new here. Because a lot of people have escaped atrocities. If you'll escape atrocities to try to come to America to have a better life, you've made one heck of a journey. You've made a journey. I refuse to continue to reduce my boiling within to a simmer. I believe for a lot of people, it kills us. It kills us. It has us drop dead at 50 of a heart attack, have cancer. I believe that. Having to live in this double consciousness, I see myself as how I see myself. I am a revolutionary. I am. I understand what I talk about in a lot of spaces at a lot of times. A lot of people are upset with it, don't agree with it, and that's okay. But I refuse to reduce my boiling to a simmer in order to appease certain people. I will not live my life like that. I refuse. I utterly refuse. And when is going to be the time to where if nobody else but the people refuse to reduce their boiling to a simmer and decide that they don't want to live in a double consciousness, because being controversial is a controversial thing, but being controversial to me is a beneficial thing, because we got to look at what we're doing. You know, I wasn't raised as a child that I could do whatever I want. I couldn't do that. Number one, because I was raised to have pride in who I was. And every time I stepped outside of my home, I was representing someone more than me. I was representing African-American people. I was representing my family. I couldn't do, even as an adult, there is this There's this thing within that says I just can't do whatever I want to do. Elected officials can't do whatever they want to do to this city and have the people do like this. But we see what's going on. But maybe it's not so bad. We see what's going on, but at least we get to have a party. We see what's going on, but I have to vote Democrat because to believe a Republican means that I'm a traitor to my people. We see what's going on, but who stands up and says enough is enough? Enough is enough. I met with the mayor. He's not going to do it. Everything I brought to the mayor, he had a rebuttal or an excuse for. And when you have leadership like that, you can't get anything accomplished, really. And the worst thing besides having leadership like that is having leadership like that who is surrounded by yes men. Nobody in their element wants to be controversial. You see, controversy is something that is necessary for growth, for change. Let's talk about it. I got on a tangent. Lord have mercy. When we look at this local economy that we could have, when I look at how does the city get away with doing this? How does our council get away with doing this? Chopping up the city to whomever they choose, with whomever they please, and then the people just not going into these spaces and just turning over tables. And in some instances, I literally have to pray that I keep my hands off of people because I'm so upset about what's going on, because I'm not lying to myself about what I see. When I have to go to a city council meeting and I can generally count with two hands how many poor people I will see in spaces like M&M Industries. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Talk to me. Good morning. You're on the air. Good morning. Give me a call back, 800-8949. 800-8949. I tried to get your call. I want to talk to you, and I want you to talk to me. M&M Industries, which Anthony Bird says is just going to be this great thing for our community. And you have people legitimately, often I see 5 or 6 people just sleeping on the concrete. And it's hard because I have such a heart for people. I have such a heart for mankind. It's hard to talk about things like this without busting out into tears, because we've created this. I know the poor have always been around and they always will be around. But to create a growing class of poor is something totally different. That's something totally different. And so looking over the CAFR, which is the annual financial report for the city of Chattanooga, you see that the government, as we know, as the city of Chattanooga, has about $1 billion worth of debt, but has almost $3.5 to $4 billion, $3.5 to $4 billion of surplus monies that the public might not be aware of how they got to this. If you've never looked at the CAFR, it's quite complex, because in order to get and funnel money between entities, from banks to private institutions, pools of money here, money over there, it's like this highway of money that's always consistently flowing throughout the city of Chattanooga. But for a lot of us, we don't see it. We don't see it. $1 billion worth of debt, but we're worth in liquid assets, $4 billion. How is it that we don't have a local economy? A local economy here is not a priority. The city of Chattanooga, as well as Hamilton County, gives out more pilots payment in lieu of taxes than any other county in the state of Tennessee. And I believe the last time I checked, ATMchat.com with Helen Burns Sharp, it was 50 pilots that are operating as of today. 50 pilots. And in a decade, we will have left $400 million of money that belongs to the taxpayers on the table because people are too afraid to go collect money. And according to council members, the city council is not a collection agency. Even though I showed you guys the agenda probably 2 weeks ago, the city council is not responsible for getting this money. Even though I see within the agenda, the city council approved in one agenda 2 payment in lieu of tax agreements that was spearheaded by the mayor. I don't understand how that works. You're not responsible for the money, but you approve the business agreement. And this is probably the worst thing of all, besides the people just not tearing the city up. And I don't mean tearing up property, but I mean tearing up leadership to where they are just, they can't go anywhere. They can't go to Bible study. They can't go to the grocery store. They literally get mobs chasing them down everywhere they go. So every time they go into the council chambers, they're afraid of making a choice without including the people, because they know that everywhere they go, there's going to be a mob of people saying, hey, we didn't like what you did in such and such and such and such. Homelessness, penalizing the most impoverished people here in the city of Chattanooga, wealth calcification, class stratification. Let's break down some of these terms. What is class stratification? Well, class stratification is when you have a division of classes within either a society or a city or whatever that have access to different resources. And unless you're within a certain class, you don't get access to those resources. One of the most interesting things I saw when I went on a dinner date with a lovely young, I call her a young lady. She would appreciate that. I went to a dinner date with a beautiful lady and got to sit down and talk to her. And she's been in the private sector, finance sector for the majority of her career, from TVA to other Tennessee Valley Credit Union. And had an opportunity to sit down with her over a lovely dinner and just have her talk to me about how the city of Chattanooga has developed and how it's been able. So one of the questions I asked was, how are they able to pay for all of this? How are they able to pay for all of this stuff that I keep seeing popping up? How are they able to pay for this? One of the things I noticed when walking to the restaurant after I parked, I walked to the restaurant was I saw this lovely building that had these huge 3D printers. I mean, 3D printers that were probably as wide as the studio that I'm in, that probably could create anything. 3D printers. And I could see, because it was all glass. The front of the building was all glass. I could see these large spools of 3D printing filament. And I stopped because I was amazed. I've only seen like smaller 3D printers. I've never seen like these huge ones. And I stopped and I marveled at them. But at the same time, I was sad. Because first of all, unless I live downtown or unless I frequent downtown, I would have never seen it. And there's no place that I can go into the neighborhoods that I live in or that a lot of my family or friends live in and see this big place where people could come and create something like products or materials, or take an idea and make a prototype. I walked away sad because after looking at the CAFR, I see where the city has money. We have money to invest in things like this. We do have money. We have money to invest in people, but we won't do it. We won't do it. And probably the realest thing that the mayor said in my meeting with him was that at least there was one thing that he was pushing for, was the development of families and of single mothers. And he questioned what would the next 4 years after he leaves office look like for the programs that he honestly, if he wasn't honest or upfront about any other part of the discussion, he was very upfront about this, was that he pushed for the development of entities and programs for children and for single mothers. And he questioned what the future of that program that he put $1 million behind would look like, or if it would even exist at all after he got out of office, because it was unpopular with a lot of people. What he said was quite a few people on the city council. 2020 is on our heels, good folks. And it's time to clean house. That's my opinion. That's my assessment. It's time to clean house. We've tried it pretty much one way for a while. And I don't think that we've produced, outside of monuments for the average working everyday individual here in the city of Chattanooga, I don't think we've built a city that has a place for that man, that woman, or that child. Y'all know what it is. It's Marie Mott with the Marie Mott Show. And as always, if no one has taken the time today to tell you that they love you, I love you. And guess what? It's absolutely nothing that you can do about that. Fight back, good people, and take back our republic every chance you get. I'll see you guys tomorrow on the Marie Mott Show.
3, 2, 1.
Chattanooga Radio. Digital FM 95.3 HD4. 92.7 FM's news now.
Fatal car crash victim has been identified. It happened on 153. Rachel Daniels was making a left-hand turn and reportedly collided with another vehicle. Brendan Wilson was thrown from his motorcycle and pronounced dead at the scene. The investigation is still ongoing. The Bradley County Sheriff's Office trying to find a missing man who hasn't been seen since the 4th of July. BCSO says 52-year-old Kevin Floyd is known to live in the area of Inman Street